Quadratic function look like open up and open down parabola is y equal to x squared, y equal to negative x squared. The general form would be ax squared plus bx plus c. And the standard form, which in the last class we used completing the square, f of x will equal to ax minus h perfect square plus. If we have that, we can decide the parabola is open up and down by looking at which part. The leading coefficient a, if a is positive, then what kind of parabola do I have? Up. Like, because positive people usually smile, right? So you have a smiley face parabola. So this is going to be open up. When you have an open up parabola, this is the lowest point of the graph, right? We call this point what? The lowest point is your minimum point. So if the leading coefficient is positive, you have a smiley face, open up parabola, and minimum point. So what if you have the leading coefficient is a negative? Negative people is usually sad, right? Like that. So you have a sad face parabola, opened down. When you have an open down parabola, it also have what kind of point here? Maximum point. Okay, that's, and then how do we find the maximum and minimum point? So the maximum and minimum point is the same as the vertex. So depending on if you have the general form or the standard form, anybody remember the formula to find the vertex if you have the general form? Say it again. It's kind of like the beginning part of the quadratic formula. So it's the negative b over 2a. It's the quadratic, negative b plus minus square root of b squared over minus 4ac over 2a. So that's part of the quadratic formula. Once you get the x value, you can use that to plug it back to the original function. So I'm going to just say f of x. You can plug it back in there. So that's when you are given the general form. You will use the a, b, and c stuff. But if you're given the standard form, then the vertex or the maximum and minimum is going to be your h and k. So you solve for x basically to get the h, and then that's your y value. So the vertex or maximum minimum would be the h and k. So some of your question later on will ask you to find maximum point because it's business math. So that's how you find it. And then if I want to know the axis of symmetry, which is depending on you have open up or open down parabola, it's going to go through the vertex, but they are vertical lines. So vertical line, the equation should start with what? Is it x equal to a number or y equal to a number? Vertical will cause the what axis? So if you have a vertical line, it's going to cause the x-axis. So it has to be x equal to something. Because it's going through the vertex, so this is like negative b over 2a comma f of x, right? And this would be h and k. So this one would be x equal to what? Your x value is, you go through this point, your x value is negative b over 2a, and your x value for this one is h, because you guys need this for 10.2, so I'm just like reviewing a little bit before you get there. Okay, so this is axis of symmetry, so that's quadratic. The other one would be polynomial. So polynomial function can be x to no power, first power, second power, etc. But we want to quickly review the end behavior. It would be helpful if you remember y equal to x squared and then y equal to negative x squared. The first one will look like what again? Open up parabola. The second one? Open down parabola. So this two is the base of even functions. In general, if your leading power is even, so even leading power, if your a is positive, it's going to look like the first one. with both sides up, like that. So even leading power, a positive, both sides up. How about if it's even leading power and a is negative? Your n is going to be both sides down. So that's for the even, right? How about if you have odd powers? So do we know what is y equal to x cubed and y equal to negative x cubed? How does the graph look like? This is an S-curve like this, and this is the S-curve like that. So if you have an odd leading power, a is positive, then the n would be what? Just like this guy, this one have a positive, this one have a equal to negative, right? So if you have odd leading power with cube like this, or fifth or the ninth, then a positive, your n should be what? Just like this one. So this is both side up or both side down. This one will be what? One side up, one side down. If a is positive, both x and y will be positive on this side, and then go down here. If you have odd leading power and the a is negative, then what? You flip to this side up and this side down like that. So how about the maximum turn? How do we find the maximum turn? So when you have the square, how many terms do we have? Okay, how many terms do you have? 1. When you have 3, that's like 1 turn and 2 turns. So the turn is going to be 1 less than the power, right? n minus 1. So it's going to be the leading power. Need to subtract 1. Okay? Very last thing, say we have f of x equal to x squared, x minus 5, like that. What is the degree of this function altogether? 3, because you have x squared and then an x, right? So this is a degree 3 function, which is odd leading power, right? And the first term, because these two multiply together, a is going to be positive, right? So how is the n going to look like? Yeah, like this one. What is the maximum turn? It's going to be degree 3, need to subtract 1 equal to 2. So it's going to be like this. Very last piece of information. So if I solve for x, this x equal to what? And this x equal to what? There are 2 x in the sub here. This is x equal to 5, because x minus 5 equal to 0, x equal to 5, right? This is x squared equal to 0. If I solve for x equal to, take square with both sides. X equal to square root of 0 is, what is square root of 0? You can use a calculator. This means I need 2 as a group to get out. What times what equal to 0? 0 times 0 equal to 0, so square root of 0 is 0. So one answer is 0, 0. One is 5, 0. So this one have an even power. So this is an even power 0. Do we cross or touch the point? And this have an invisible 1 here, so this is an odd power 0. Even power 0, cross or touch? Touch the point. Odd power 0, we're going to cross. So I know this is a lot, but they expect you know all of this. So if you don't, you have to review this. Questions?